Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishpat Brahmamsa Varivajika Acharya Ashtotra Shatashi Shamaras Bhakti Saraswati Thakura Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to the simple devotees, all glories to the simple devotees, all glories to the simple devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Agyanatipidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulan Militam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karitavachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Lidataninam Vancha Kapadribishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, so it is the appearance day of Paramesvari Das Thakura in MadhavendraPuri, Srinivasa Acarya, and Sri Radha Raman. So, alright, so we'll start with Paramesvara or Paramesvari Das Thakura. Because Paramesvari is generally, right, woman. Srimati Radharani, right? It's either or. All right, so yeah, we'll start with Paramesh. It has here Paramesvari Das Thakura. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Paramesvari Das was completely surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. He was the Lord's constant companion. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj says that anyone who remembers his name, Paramesvari Das, will easily attain love of Krishna. Both of them. You'll attain love of Krishna, Radha Krishna. Paramesvari Das also humbly served Sri Janavamata. He accompanied the deity of Radharani that Janavamata sent to Vrindavan for Govindaji. In Krishna Leela, Paramesvari Das is one of the Dasa Gopals named Arjun. His samadhi is in the 64 samadhis area. All right, that's a short biography. Paramesvari Das. And now we could hear about Sri MadhavendraPuri. Okay. Before Lord Chaitanya appeared, he sent his eternal associates like Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Jagannath Misha, Shachimata, MadhavendraPuri, Ishvarapuri to earth. Sri MadhavendraPuri took initiation from Sri Lakshmi Pati Tirtha in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. He had many, but Sri Advaita Acharya and Sri Ishvarapuri were the chief disciples of MadhavendraPuri. In one way or another, all the Vaishnavas in Bengal and Chaitra Mandala, Jagannath Puri, were connected with Sri MadhavendraPuri. After Lord Chaitanya came, many of his disciples joined Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. So this is a quote from Vrindavan Thakur. Madhavendrapuri's body was completely full of divine love. So were his followers. He displayed uncommon love of God. Seeing a dark blue rain cloud, he would fall down unconscious. Day and night he was intoxicated from drinking the ambrosia of Krishna Prem. Vrindavan Thakur. Quote from Vrindavan Thakur. So yeah, this is an interesting quality of interesting transcendental quality of Madhavendrapuri. You can imagine he just saw a dark blue rain cloud, and he would fall down unconscious in ecstasy. So that's a pretty intense, you could say, level of Krishna consciousness where you just see a rain cloud and it reminds you of Krishna. And people have this experience that if they have a particular level of consciousness, depending on what level that consciousness is or what their consciousness is attached to, everything practically reminds them of what they're attached to. Like, for example, a lusty man will see the whole see everything in relation to women, or see everything in relation to sex. That's a lusty person. We'll see that. Or somebody who's very attached to eating. They'll always be thinking about, okay, what's the next opportunity for me to eat something. Or a businessman, businesswoman. They always are thinking of what's the next venture. How am I going to get my next how am I going to get the next buck? How am I going to get the next sum of money? So, or the example that's famously given, and many devotees probably repeat it all over the world all the time, that one person goes to a forest, right? They're in the mode of goodness. They think, oh, great, this is a wonderful place to meditate, and for me to focus on God, or just meditate, whatever. And a passionate person thinks, oh, great, let me just cut all these trees down and build some factories, or let me bring my girlfriend here, my lover here, we'll enjoy the forest. And a person in the mode of ignorance is saying, oh, great, what a wonderful place. To do what? Sleep. What very, peaceful, quiet. Or you have the background of, birds, and I guess it's pleasant for sleeping, I guess. Some people buy those, I guess not, some people, they listen to, rainfall or birds chirping in the background. Birds could be quite disturbing though too. I remember I was with Tirtha Maharaj. We drove up to Sacramento. He was giving some classes up there. I was accompanying him, trying to drive stick shift, not so well. And we stopped before we went to one householder's house where we were staying. Somehow he wanted to stop at the park and just kind of relax a little bit. And there's these really intense birds, like all surrounding above us from the trees, and they're making the loud chirping sound. I don't even know what type of birds they were, but Tirtha Maharaj he was annoyed. He said, "What's up? What's up with these birds so passionate?" So depending on a person's consciousness, they'll see the world in a particular way. So here we have the example of MadhavendraPuri. He just sees a rain cloud, and he falls unconscious in ecstasy, very high level. So we could try in our own way to follow him, remember Krishna. After making an extensive pilgrimage of Bharat Bhumi, India, he passed his life in Vrindavan and Orissa. He began the restoration work of Vrindavan that Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis continued later. Wandering from grove to grove, remembering Radha Krishna's sweet Vrindavan pastimes, MadhavendraPuri would faint in ecstasy. In a dream, Sri Gopal ordered MadhavendraPuri to uncover a buried Gopal deity and install him atop Govardhan hill. MadhavendraPuri celebrated Gopal's installation with an Anukut, grand festival offering a mountain of foodstuffs to Krishna. This Anukut festival, also called Govardhan Puja, is one of the most important Vaishnava festivals in Vrindavan, in India and around the world. The original Gopal deity, known as who? Yes, Srinathji, is now worshipped in Natwar, Rajasthan. See, one reason sometimes people may wonder, okay, why do we read these about these personalities? Okay, one is their appearance day, and we should try to remember them, meditate on them, pray to them. But also, within spiritual life, it's important that we become familiar with these personalities in the sense that upon hearing about them, we could actually, if somebody asks us, for example, next week, tell me about MadhavendraPuri. So we should be able to say, this is what MadhavendraPuri. Or tell me about Paramesvari Dasa. We should be able to say, who's Paramesvari Dasa? Or Srinivasa Acarya. Tell us a story about Radha Raman. Not that if somebody asks us, tell us about MadhavendraPuri, and we just kind of, I can't say anything. Quiet. Like we had one brahmachari. I mean, he was a little kind of, I would say, imbalanced in some ways, but I was thinking about him this morning. But he would, Jarita Prabhu reads the quotes in the morning. So, and whether or not, it's early in the morning, and sometimes it's hard to focus and what to speak or remember what was said. But this brahmachari, I think when Tirtha Maharaj was reading, Tirtha Maharaj would just read like one paragraph, or like in L.A., Suvas Prabhu just reads a part of a purport. So it wasn't like 12 quotes, which is good. Those 12 quotes, I like it. It's nice. But but my point is that when Tirtha Maharaj would read that one quote or paragraph, this brahmachari would give a class that morning, and then he would say, okay, everybody, what's the quote? What was said this morning? And then, it was like a challenge, and a lot of devotees were, I don't know, I was kind of thinking about something else, or I can't remember, or, why are you challenging me? Some would remember, but in some ways, even though it was a little Yeah, but he has a good point to try to remember what was said. All right, so we'll continue. So Natji, the original Gopal deity. MadhavendraPuri introduced the conception of Madhurya Bhav, conjugal love, in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. MadhavendraPuri sowed the seed of Prema Bhakti, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became the towering tree, dropping honey-sweet fruits of prema upon everyone. He also revealed Viraha Bhav, the mood of love, relish, and separation from God. His branch of Madhva sect distinguished itself by this ecstatic love of God. It is known as the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. In Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed an intense mood of Viraha Bhav. This increased unlimitedly when the Lord heard verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Krishna Karnamrita, Gita Govinda, Padyavali, and the love poems of Chandidas and Vidyapati. Mahaprabhu's Viraha begins with a single verse spoken by MadhavendraPuri, his Param Guru, Grand Preceptor. So this particular verse, it says it's only understood by three personalities, and that is Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and MadhavendraPuri. So this is the verse, but maybe you should chant it with diacritic. There's no diacritics there. So. So, this is Madhavendra. It's actually said that this verse was first spoken by Srimati Radharani. O compassionate Lord of the poor and humble, O Lord of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Without seeing you, my heart has become very much afflicted. O my beloved, I am overwhelmed. What should I do now? Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 4:197. And this is when MadhavendraPuri, it said that he was on his disappearance bed, and he had two disciples. One disciple was Ramchandra Puri, right? Ramchandra Puri. So Ramchandra Puri, it's actually quite interesting passage from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but Ramchandra Puri, he goes to MadhavendraPuri, and he's on his disappearance bed, and MadhavendraPuri is lamenting, and like he is in this verse. Of course it's spiritual lamentation, but he's saying that I haven't obtained Krishna. I wasn't able to attain Krishna. He's lamenting, and then his disciple Ramchandra Puri, he says, "Oh, why are you lamenting?" It says in the Bhagavad Gita we shouldn't lament. Brahmabhutasa prasannatma shochati nakangshati. This is material platform lamentation. So why are you lamenting? So you should just think of Brahman. Means it says he was a latent impersonalist, this Ramchandra Puri. And MadhavendraPuri became very upset. He became actually just angry. And he said, "Get out, you sinful rascal. Get out." He said, if I die seeing your face, I won't be able to obtain my destination, so get out. So yeah, Ramchandra Puri left. And one time Srila Prabhupada, apparently in Laguna Beach, there was one disciple of his that used to be one of his personal servants, and he came to see Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, this disciple, he left ISKCON, so he came back and was visiting Prabhupada, and this old disciple said, "You know what? I wasn't happy in ISKCON, and I'm actually very happy I left." And in effect, you could say that he was telling Prabhupada, "I wasn't happy with you," because he was with Prabhupada so much as a servant. So then Prabhupada said something very interesting. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm actually happy you left too, because now I don't have to see your morose face." So, of course, you could say, deep down inside, Prabhupada wasn't happy he left. He wanted him to, he wanted everyone to be a devotee, but he was reciprocating with them. Right? Ye yata mam prapadyantem tam sachai prajamyaham. As they surrender, I reciprocate, right? Krishna says. So spiritual masters like that too. So within personalism, there's anger. One can become angry. In personalist circles, it is a big no-no. You become angry, that means you're like not advanced. That means you've lost the game. But in personalism, and specifically, personalism, one can become angry. And this is what MadhavendraPuri did. He became very angry, and he said, "Get out, you sinful rascal. I don't want to see your face because I want to attain my destination." Because, So that was one example, Ramachandra-Puri. And it said that due to that offense, he was trying to instruct his spiritual master. It says one should never instruct the spiritual master. Due to that offense, it says that material desires entered his heart. And he became a speculator and a critic of everyone, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, up to the point of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Ramachandra-Puri went to Puri, Jagannath Puri, he what he would do is he would invite specifically sannyasis. He would invite them and feed them prasadam. Just like sometimes devotees may be invited to someone's house and they feed them prasadam. But what he would do is he would feed him, and then he would feed him, and then he would feed him, and then he would feed him some more, and feed him a lot. And then afterwards, but he was insisting, and then they would take it, trying to be good guests. And then afterwards, Ramachandra-Puri would say, I heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers overate, and now I see for sure that they do that. And my spiritual master, he says how that he was one time in South Africa and at one devotee's house with Indra Swami, and they were taking prasadam there, and the devotees, they kept on bringing prasadam out. They just kept on bringing and bringing and bringing. And he was saying how it seemed like they're about to end, like this was the last thing, because you can't, the kitchen's there, you can't see what's. So, okay, this is the last thing, but just when it was the last thing, supposedly, they keep on bringing more. And my spiritual master, he said that he asked Indra Swami, Maharaj, what are we going to do? I mean, this is like, wait, I already ate too much, and I don't know if I could have any more, but I don't want to offend these people. What do we do? So then Indra Swami said, well, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that one should not eat too much, and one should not eat too little. So he said, today we're focusing on not eating too little. That was Indra Swami's clever comment. So, but he would feed them and just, criticize them. So then he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's a wonderful picture, actually, in the Chaitanya painting, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ramachandra-Puri is very angry, really upset, and he's like this, pointing to the ground. And you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu standing there. He looks kind of like a little frightened by Ramachandra-Puri, because also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a lot of respect for Ramachandra-Puri because he was the godbrother of Ishvara Puri. So he was like in the same generation of his spiritual masters. He was very respectful. So then, Ramachandra-Puri was saying, and he's pointing, saying, look at the ants here. That means they're eating sweets. That means they're keeping sweets. That's what he thought. And of course, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says there's ants everywhere. It wasn't that he was keeping sweets. So he was even criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for overeating. It said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cut his eating in half. And then some of his I'm not sure if his followers did that too, but his followers are getting really upset with Ramachandra-Puri. Where the other example is Ishvara Puri. Ishvara Puri was also at the disappearance bed, but what was he doing? He was doing humble service. Specifically, he was helping his, or we could say, assisting his spiritual master in remembering Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. That's what devotees generally do when they're at somebody's deathbed. They help him remember Krishna. And it said that ISKCON was so humble he would even clean up his stool and urine with his own hand. In this way, it says that he got the supreme blessings of MadhavendraPuri. ISKCON got the blessings of MadhavendraPuri, and he became like an ocean full of love for Krishna. Ocean of love of Krishna. So those are the two examples. And it says that these two examples are to teach us what the results are of the punishment of a great soul and the blessing of a great soul, and the blessing of MadhavendraPuri. My spiritual master, speaking on this particular pastime, he said that he was, at one point in 1996, his father was diagnosed with cancer. So I said he was in Mayapur at a GBC meeting, and he got the telegram, back then with telegrams, and that his father's sick. So then he flew back to America, and was there in the hospital, and eventually, hospital. And he was explaining how in his family there was only two siblings. It was only himself, son, and one his sister, and the mother. So the idea was that he would take care of his father in the nighttime because his sister had a young son. So my spiritual master was taking care of his father in the hospital, and it said that he would, he was explaining he would be sleeping right next to him in like a couch, not really sleeping because it was a very intense time. His father was very sick and getting close to the end, it seemed like. But he had to be always vigilant, in a vigilant state of consciousness, because his father may need help in the nighttime, getting up, going to the bathroom. He needed help, right? So he would help his father make it to the bathroom. And he said that he was doing that for some days, and then sometimes, or one particular time, or a few, whatever, his father wouldn't make it to the bathroom, so he'd have to clean up after his father. So one night he was doing that, and then in the morning he went to his father's bedside, and his father said, "Come here, son." And his father said, "What would I do? What would you do if I gave you $1 million?" And then my spiritual master said he wasn't thinking of that. It was just serving his father, and he said he gave some general answer, and so and eventually he was transferred. The father was transferred to his house, and Radha happened to be in the area visiting his father because they're in the same area. So then Radha was going to visit my spiritual master, but it didn't really work out because at that particular day where they were going to visit, he was getting my spiritual master's father was getting close to leaving. So then eventually that time came, and he said it was very auspicious actually, his departure, that his father was laying on the bed, and family was surrounding, and prayers were going on, this and that. And then, at one particular point, it said that his father, he said he was holding one hand and his sister was holding the other hand. He said at one point his father opened his eyes really wide, and then he smiled, and then he left. So his eyes were closed. He opened his eyes and he smiled and he left his body. So then he said that his sister was a little skeptical, kind of rational, scientific type of person, not so easily believing in metaphysical things. So then his sister said, what on earth just happened? What was that? Like, what did he see to make him smile like that? Anyway. And then, lamentation filled the room, and, his mother ran out of the room crying and all that. But when Radha Swami visited my spiritual master eventually, they were speaking, and my spiritual master was telling Radha Swami about how after serving his father, humbly serving his father offered him, made that comment, "What would you do if I gave you $1 million?" And then Radha Swami, he related it to MadhavendraPuri and MadhavendraPuri and Ishvarapuri. Of course, my spiritual master's father didn't offer him anything, spiritual treasure, but in his, from his perspective, some material treasure. He wanted to reciprocate. So it reminded him of MadhavendraPuri and Ishvarapuri. And my spiritual master said he was thinking that too.
He gave him $1 million?
I don't think so. I think his sister is she's in charge of the, inheritance or whatever. So this is what happened with MadhavendraPuri and Ishvarapuri, is that Ishvarapuri was humbly serving him. And because of that humble service, MadhavendraPuri benedicted him with love for Krishna. So. And from that he became the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. So you see the result, quite a result. All right. So Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj says that as the diamond Kaustubha jewel is the most precious among all rare, valuable jewels, this shloka is the Rasa Kavya, the best verse in the entire treasury of rasa poetry. Actually, this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani herself. It was Radha's pathetic cry to Shyamasundar, who had gone to Mathura, leaving her alone, desperate in Vrindavan. Radharani's mercy brought this same verse from the mouth of MadhavendraPuri. Reciting even a few words of this shloka would tear open the door of Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, making him swoon and ecstasy, fallen unconscious. Feeling intense separation from Krishna, MadhavendraPuri constantly chanted this verse when departing this world. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that with this verse, MadhavendraPuri teaches devotees how to achieve Krishna Prem by cultivating intense feelings of separation from Sri Krishna. Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept that this verse expresses the essence of the mood of separation. The Gaudiya Sampradaya teaches that worship of Radha and Krishna in separation represents the highest level of devotional service. At this stage of realization, the devotee feels completely vacant in the world in the absence of Krishna. A moment without Madhava feels like a millennium. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always swam in the ocean of Divyon Madha Mahabhav, the mad and ecstatic emotion shown by Sri Radha in Brahmar Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam 1047. In this verse, MadhavendraPuri discloses similar emotions. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas conclude that the monsoon shower of ecstatic love exhibited by Lord Gauranga during his manifest pastimes began with MadhavendraPuri. It then came through Ishvarapuri, who played the role of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. MadhavendraPuri Samadhi is in Ramuna, Orissa, near the temple of Chor Gopinath. So, very important personality for us. So I'll just read the translation of the verse again. Oh, compassion. Huh? Well, you want to pass the mic? Alrighty, we'll hear Prabhupada's translation.
Oh my Lord.
I think you got to turn it on, Dravida Prabhu. I don't think it's on.
O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved one, what shall I do now?
Okay, now Srinivasa Acharya. Okay. Making progress here. After witnessing Lord Gauranga's sannyas ceremony at Katva, Chaitanya Das and his pregnant wife visited Lord Chaitanya in Puri. So this is, soon your wife will give birth to a son named Srinivasa. So there's Chaitanya Das and his wife. Soon your wife will give birth to a son named Srinivasa, said Lord Chaitanya, and through Srinivasa all the Bhakti Shastras, Rupa and Sanatan will be distributed. Book distribution. When his father left this world, Srinivasa visited the remaining associates of Lord Gauranga in Kwatwa, Navadvip, Jagannath Puri. They blessed Srinivasa and gave him valuable instructions for spiritual advancement. Seeing his absorption of Gauranga Prem, they knew he was an embodiment of Gaura Shakti, the energy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He came to Vrindavan, toured the 12 forests, and took Diksha from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Sri Jiva Goswami taught him the complete philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Good teacher to have, Jiva Goswami, best. Acknowledging his vast learning, Sri Jiva gave Srinivasa the title Acharya. Accepting Sri Jiva's order, Srinivasa and his two friends, Shyamananda Prabhu and Narottam Das Thakur, good friends to have, pioneered the first transcendental book distribution party. Now apparently there was something sent out some time ago that was the apparent the results. I asked Bajranarayan, because I mentioned it, because actually quite fascinating, this many Bhakti Rasamrita, this many books. And they,
Someone sent it to me and I sent it out around the world.
yeah.
I don't know what to
And then they said, we hope that in the future some Vaishnavas could come along and distribute a lot more than us. And I asked Bajranarayan Swami, he said, oh well, he wasn't the validity of it, but it was amusing, the thing. It's nice. But their first book distribution party. Vraj Basi Sankirtan Party Ki Jai. They took a bullock cart. There you go, bullock cart. Not a, what do they call it? What's those big vans they take now? Sprinters. Running sprinters, bullock cart. They took a bullock cart of the Goswami's devotional writings from Vrindavan and passed them out all over Bengal and Orissa. Srinivasa Acharya initiated many disciples, Ramchandra Kaviraj and others, wrote songs full of bhakti, Shad Goswami Ashtakam, and introduced a special kirtan style. When leading kirtan, he would sometimes lose his voice from chanting so long. Besides his external activities of preaching and writing, Srinivasa Acharya practiced intensive Raganuga Bhajan. Raganuga Bhajan is the spontaneous internal worship of Radha and Krishna based on the mood and sentiments of the eternal residents of Sri Vrindavan Dham, such as the gopis. While doing Manasi Seva, service to Radha Krishna within one's mind in a mentally conceived spiritual form, he would often bring tangible paraphernalia from these meditations back with him upon returning to external consciousness. One Srinivas sat Lord Gauranga on a jeweled throne within his mind. Then he worshipped the Lord with a golden-handled chamara, whisk, and a 5-flower garland. Pleased with his service, Gaur Roy offered the garland back to Srinivas, who then immediately woke and lost the meditation. A surprised Srinivas found the sweetest flower garland he ever smelled hanging around his neck when he returned to external consciousness. It's a powerful meditation. Another time Srinivas was in his Siddha Sarup as Mani Manjari watching Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna, the gopis, and Holy Leela, joyfully throwing colored powders and dyes on each other. The gopis told Mani Manjari to supply colors to Radhika and side with them in their war against Shyam, Krishna. The earth shook from their furious battle. Srinivas's meditation abruptly broke. His body was completely covered from head to toe with fragrant and exotic rainbow-colored powders imported from the spiritual world. Holy Leela Ki Jai. Srinivasa Acharya Samadhi is in the Deer Samir Samadhis area. Oh, Mani Manjari. Okay, so we have one more, and that is Gopal Bhatta Goswami, right? With Radha Damodar? Radha Damodar? Radha Raman. But that's a Gopal. Gopal Bhatta. Okay. So just give me one. Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So now we will humbly ask Dravida Prabhu if he could share some of his Radharaman pictures with us. He has some nice close-ups of Radharaman.
Self-manifest deity. And they have a link way of collecting about more.
So yeah, it's with Radharaman, it was Rupa. So a lot of the Goswamis had threefold bending forms of Krishna, right? They were able to dress them and decorate them, and whereas Srila worship is very simple, very simple. And there's even, of course, there's more elaborate Srila worship, but there's a particular type of Srila worship very simple. Just Prabhupada would say, open the box, drop, 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 or drip, drip, drip with water, offer tulsi leaf, flour, some incense, and then close the box, Srila worship. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, in his mind, he was thinking, oh yes, I have the Srila, although it'd be really nice if I could have a deity where I could decorate and worship like the other Goswamis. And then he was thinking, oh, I can't believe this. I'm such a sinful rascal that I'm thinking I'm not satisfied with my Srila worship, and what's wrong with me? So then he goes to sleep at night, and he's trying to forget about that. He goes to sleep at night, and then he wakes up the next morning, and then he opens his box, right, with Srila, and then Radharaman's there. So self-manifested deity, which is being passed around right now. And before that, it said that he went to that, what is that river, Godavari? Or what is that? What's that where they get the Shilas? Gandaki? Yeah, Gandaki, yeah, by Nepal. So certain Shilas have certain markings, which some are Damodar Shilas, some are Nrsingadev Shilas, different markings, different Shilas. So he to start with, to get the Shila before he obtained the Shila, he went there to this river to get the Shilas, and then so he collected some Shilas, and then he was thinking, you know what, I'm not really qualified, and I think I'm just going to put them back. So I'm just going to put them back. So he said he put them back. He said that the Shilas jumped back into his pouch, into his hands, and then oh, that's very strange. So I put the Shilas back, and it happened a few times, and he said, okay, well, I guess it's an indication that I should have the Shilas. So yeah, then Radharaman appeared. Very beautiful deity of Krishna there in Vrindavan, and it's, I think, the only original deity that stayed there because of the Muslim invasion, breaking temples, and so a lot of the deities went to Jaipur, and then the Radharaman's so small that they just kept him there in Vrindavan. I think he's like this big. Yeah, easy to hide him. So a very beautiful deity, and every night throughout the day they have, I think they have a flute player. He's in the evening, they play flute for Radharaman, very beautiful flute. And also got some very talented devotees there, playing harmonium, singing all these wonderful bhajans to Radharaman, very devotional. So, and Bhajanarayan Swami very intelligently. We went there with them, Raj Mohan and myself, to Radharaman to have darshan in the evening, and Bhajanarayan Swami brought binoculars. Very intelligent. So we were to stand in the back, and then you could see Radharaman with binoculars. Because even if you get close, he's quite small. So, all right. So does anybody have any questions or comments?
I always thought was amazing about this deity that as often you can see the teeth, which you don't see any other deities.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see, did you see? There's
In one of these pictures.
There's several there that has the teeth showing.
And
They're not always visible. That's another miracle.
all right. So we covered everyone. So Paramesvari, Das, Thakur, Ki Jai, Radha Raman Ki Jai, MadhavendraPuri Ki Jai, Srinivasa Acharya Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.